Hello, so here we have a LeetCode problem, merge two sorted linked lists. We're given the head of two of these sorted linked lists, list one and list two. Merge the two lists onto one sorted linked list and return the head of the new sorted linked list. So we essentially want to combine these two lists together and at the same time sort it as we do that. So here I have it drawn out for us. This is list one, and this will be list two. We will first start by making a dummy node. With this right here let me just draw that out as well. Here will be a dummy node, and then we will point a current pointer to that dummy node. So cur will be sitting right here. So while there's items or values inside of list one and list two, we will continue running this loop. So first thing we want to do is compare which one is least compared to the values in the list. So while list one and list two, if list one's value is less than list two's value, if I can spell correctly, meaning that we will be pointing and going to list one, and then cur will be here. So that looks like this. Cur dot next equals list one, and then cur will then sit. The pointer then points to list one, and then cur also sits on top of list one. So equals list one, and then list one's head, which is right here, will then point to its next. So list one equals list one dot next. Otherwise, meaning that list two is less than list one. It's basically the same thing, except for if you need a better visualization of this, this is basically how it looks, right? So right now we just have the cur in the dummy node, the cur set on the dummy node, right? So yeah, that would be this right here. Now you're comparing the values of 1 and 2. So you're comparing 1 and 1. So either way, it doesn't matter. So let's just say, for example, it's going to point to list 1. Let's say that is, for example. So now the pointer will then point to now list 1, and then cur. Ooh, I'm terrible at this. Let's just say, well, now cur will sit on list 1. Cur will then sit on list 1, and list 1 right here will then point. It's list 1's next will point to this. So now list 1 is essentially right here. So list 1, and then it will still compare the values of 1 and 2. So now it's asking between these two, between this one and this one, which one is less. In this case, it will be this one. So now it does this one. Now cur dot next goes to here. Cur goes here now. And now the pointer now points here. And the cur now sits on list 2. And then now list 2, list 2's will then point to its next one. So now list 1 still sits right here, and now list 2 sits right here, and then it will look something like this still. So now you're comparing these two. This one's obviously less, and that was pointing this way. Cur will sit up here, and the same thing goes until you eventually reach null to which one of these sides. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, that's basically how it works. Now, if we break out of this loop, meaning that eventually then the cur next will be pointing at nothing. It will be pointing at null, whether it's list 1 or list 2. So in that case, we will do cur.next equals list. We can just point to list 1 because it doesn't really matter because it's empty anyways. So if list 1 is empty, so if list 1 is empty, else we'll just go to list 2. And then we will then, because now that the pointer, everything is now starting from here, this is called the dummy node. So we're going to print whatever's next of the head of the dummy node, which is dummy.next. So there you go. Thanks for listening, guys.